Okay, I need you guys to flip over your papers to the back so that we can start there and just trying to apply some of these rules of radicals. First off, we know that when we go to, say we have a number, I'll just pick 40. The square root of 40. If we're trying to simplify this, we know that we're going to take the 40, we're going to break it down, and I've got 4 and 10. And then I have 2 and 2 and 2 and 5. So underneath the square root, I've got, let's see, 2 2's and then a 2 and a 5. How does something get pulled out of that square root sign? If there's what? If there's a pair. Here's a pair. So that gets pulled out. So I get 2 and the other 2 stay inside, right? So the ones that stay inside here, we just take 2 times 5. So we're going to come up with 2 the square root of 10. All right, so if I had say I had this. If I went to go break it apart, that's a B. B to the third means 1, 2, 3, right? C squared means 2 C's, and then we have a D. How are you able to come out of the house? With a pair, with a friend. So I've got 2 B's right here. So those B's get to come out. What about this B? It stays inside the house. I've got 2 C's. That gets to come outside the house. I have a D. It doesn't have a partner, so it stays inside the house. This would be the simplified form. You have to have a partner to come out. Okay, let's try a different one. Okay, there's 2 of them right there. Try and figure out what those 2 are. I'll come back and we'll go through them. Okay, on the first one right here on the left, if I go to write it all out, S to the 4th means 1, 2, 3, 4. T to the 3rd, 1, 2, 3, and then a V is by itself. Okay, you have to have a partner to come outside. The S's have a partner. The S's have a partner. You can also see that there's an even number right here. If you can see that, you can do that without writing it all out. The T's, there's a partner of T's right here. But then these are left. So then inside is TV. Now, up here on this one, 10 breaks up into, you have to do the numbers the same way we've been doing, as 2 and 5. So if I wrote it all out in expanded form, I'd have 2 times 5, x squared is x times x, y to the 3rd, 1, 2, 3. Well, do my numbers have a partner? No, it's just 2 times 5. I can leave 10 inside here. You would treat the numbers like we've been doing. Now, there are 2 x's, so that means one of the x's comes out. There are 2 y's, and then there's one more y left over. Okay, So let's go, where'd it go? Do number 1 right now, based on what we just did. Okay, on number 1. First off, you need to treat the 40. We need to break this up. I have 4 and 10, 2 and 2, 2 and 5. Underneath the square root sign, so 2 times 2 times 2 times 5. Now don't forget the variable. You have B and B. So what comes out are the ones with partners. I've got a 2 and I've got a B. So 2B or not to be, just kidding. Okay, 2 and then a B. That's too early for jokes. Okay. 2 times 5 is 10, so I'll leave it like that. So your answer becomes 2b square root of 10. All right, now look at number 2. Number 2 says 3 times the square root of 20. Well, all we need to do is take this 20, and let's go ahead and try and simplify that. I have 4 times 5. 5 is prime, so let's go to the 4. 2 and 2. The 3 still is on the outside. Square root, what's on the inside? 2, 2, and 5. What comes out? The 2 does. So right here, the 2 comes out here. The 5 stays inside. Whenever you have numbers out here, you multiply them together. So you get 6 square root of 5. Now, number 3 says 5 the square root of 3 squared. We should know that that means 5 square root of 3 times 5 square root of 3. When we are multiplying, we'll put them together. So it means that I'll have 5 times 5 square root, there's 3's inside there. When you're multiplying, you're putting them together. Well, what is 5 times 5? Okay, so that becomes 25. Then I have 3 times 3 on the inside. Well, what happens when you have a pair inside? They come out, right? So these 3's come outside. Is there anything left in the house? No, there's not. So now you just do 3 times 25, which gives you 75. Let's go to the next one. Let's see here. There we go. Don't worry about number 4 right now. I want you to try and do 5 and 6. 5 and 6. Okay, let's look at number 5. Number 5, a 3 is a prime number, so I'm going to leave that alone. Let's break up 18 into a prime number. 18 is 2 times 9. 9 breaks up as 3 and 3. Okay, so the 4 is outside the square root sign. What goes inside? This 3 in the first part. Then I have a 2 and a 3 and a 3. The 4 still stays outside. I have a pair of 3's. So that 3 goes out there. Then I have 3 times 2. Now you need to multiply the numbers that are left outside and inside. 4 times 3 is 12. 3 times 2 is 6. So your answer becomes 12 square root of 6. Now, one way to check that is you can go in the calculator Let's see, where's my handy dandy calculator? Go in there and put in the original problem. 4 square root of 3 times the square root of 18 and press enter. I hope that works. I might have to put parentheses on there. I'm not sure there's a double. I think I do. Let's try this again. Parentheses 4 the square root of 3 times the square root of 18. I'm hoping this works. 12 and then the square root of 6. Okay, well, I'm not putting parentheses in here somewhere, right? Let's see. Might be a little bit more difficult than I thought. Let's see. All right, 4 square root. I thought it'd be nice to be able to figure out how to. I think I have to close it twice. Well, never mind. I guess it's, see how it's making the square root sign all the way go all the way across? I don't know how to get that off. Just kidding. Okay, let me just be done. All right. Never mind. Guess we're not checking. All right. I thought I was being ingenious. Guess not. Not today. What? I'm still a genius, just not on the calculators. All right. Oh, where'd my pin go now? Oh, no. Now something's going to open that I'm not going to want. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Here we go. 45 splits up as 9 and 5. 5 is prime. 9 splits up as 3 and 3. So I have 2 square root, and inside the square root is 3 times 3 times 5. 2 stays outside. I've got a pair of 3s. 3s go outside. That 5 will stay inside. 2 times 3 is 6. So I got 6 square root of 5. That's what my answer is. Okay, now I'm going to use a whole different, a big page for this. Let's see here. Well, no, I don't have to. Let's see. There we go. All right. This one has a fraction. Okay. Now, to be able to rationalize this, meaning you have to, I'm going to break it up like this. I'm going to put square root of 5 over the square root of 16. That means the same thing. But you don't want to have a square root sign in the bottom. The only way we can get rid of that is to multiply this by the square root of 16 over the square root of 16. See, the reason why you're allowed to do this is because, like, 9 divided by 9, that's 1. 10 divided by 10, 1. X divided by x, 1. I am multiplying by 1, so I am not changing the value of this right here. That's the only reason why you can multiply by this square root of 16 over square root of 16. So what I do now is I'll go here and what is 5 times 16? Let me try and show you here. I've got 5 times 16 over 16 times 16. Okay, so 5 times 16 is 80. Now, what happens right here when there's two 16s underneath the square root sign? They get to go outside, right? Which leaves nothing inside. So the reason I'm doing that is just to make a regular 16 down here. Because when you pull out a 16, there's nothing left on the inside of the square root sign. So that means the square root sign goes away. Now, from here, I still have to simplify the 80. 80 splits up as 8 and 10. 10 splits up as 2 and 5. 4 and 2. 2 and 2. Okay. Now, so to bring this down here, let's see. I need more page. Okay, to bring this down here, the square root of 80 is actually 2 and 2 and 2 and 2 and 5. Okay? All over 16. That 16 still stays there. Now, this 2 comes outside the square root sign. This 2 comes outside the square root sign. What's left inside? The 5 over 16. We're still not done. 2 times 2 is 4 square root of 5 over 16. Yeah, if you don't have space, you may have to use a separate sheet or the back side. Here's the problem now. This, what is 4 over 16 if you reduce it? It is not 4. Guys, this is a fraction. The bottom is bigger. And if you don't know, you need to go and put 4 divides 16 and press math. Oh, wait, I had all that stuff in there. That was not going to be good. 4 divides 16, math, enter, enter. So this becomes, it's 1/4, yes, because this is a fraction. So it's 1/4 square root of 5, or you would write it square root of 5 over 4. Don't worry, this is all practice. It's step by step. All right, let's try another one. Okay, I'm going to need a new page for this one, I promise. Let's see, 27 over 64. You might need either paper, if you're using the worksheet, or the back side. Okay, so right here, let's do this. Let's break up 27 first. 27 breaks up as 9 and 3. 9 breaks up as 3 and 3. So, underneath the top part of the square root, I have 3 times 3 times 3, right? That's 27. Broken apart. Now, I'm going to do 64. There's a couple ways you can do this. I'm going to do it this way, though, right now. What is 64? I know 2 goes in there, so that's 32. Oh, let me just, thanks, 8 times 8. Thanks, guys. 64, the square root of 64 is a perfect square, which is 8, right? Okay, so the 8 goes down here at the bottom. So now, though, right here in the top, threes get to go out and play, right? So I have 3 square root of 3 over 8. Now, if you put, can you reduce 3 over 8? If you put it in the calculator, it'll still give you 3 over 8. This is your answer. I guess not. Some of them work out nicer than the others. See, I was fixing to break down 64 because I wasn't thinking about perfect squares. Okay, so what do we have? 3 square root of 3. 3 square root of 3 over 8. Okay, now this one. This one means 3 square root of 10 times 3 square root of 10, right? Okay, so now on this one, what is 3 times 3. 9. Underneath the square root sign, I have a 10 and a 10. We have partners, right? Yes. Okay, we'll go back to that one in a minute. 10 times 10, the 10 comes outside. Nothing is left in this square root sign, so the square root sign goes away. 9 times 10, 90. So your answer to this one is 90. All right. Jose, what'd you say now? The last. Oh, I did it the hard way. See, like he was saying on number 4, that we have the square root of 5 over the square root of 16. And it would have been the square root of 5 over 4. And we would have done nothing else. Wow, I am a genius. I went the long way. I just didn't see the shortcut. Waste your paper. I'm so sorry. And lead. Okay. All right. Number 9. Number 9. Let's see. I have the square root of 2 is as simple as it will go. So 7 and then square root of 2. That'll stay like that. Now, this one, 2 square root of 18. The 2 can go out there. Now I need to do the square root of 18. 9. Okay, hold on. Let me go back a second. I had somebody say what? When you are multiplying, you are combining these two things together. One thing you can do on the things on the outside. What is 2 times 7? 14. Square root. 2 times 18? 36. See, I found the shortcut. What's the square root of 36? Yeah, 6 times 6 is 36. So that means I have 14 times 6. And there's nothing left in the square root sign, right? Because the square root of 36 is 6. So now what is 14 times 6? 84. Let's skip a second and go to right here, number 19. Trying to get my pen back. There we go. All right. On number 19, it says find the area of each object. Okay. What is the formula for area? Area equals length times width. So I'm going to take 5 square root of 7 times 3 square root of 7. Okay. So this becomes 5 times 3, which is 15. Then underneath the square root sign is 7 times 7. What happens now? Take it out. These are partners. So all I have is 15 times 7 because there's nothing left underneath the square root sign. What is 15 times 7? 105. So the area is 105. Now, go and try these next ones on the area. Okay, again, to find the area is length times width. So we're taking 3 times 4 square root of 5. Well, all we do is multiply the whole numbers together. Okay, so I get 12 square root of 5. That's the area. Now, 21 is a triangle. What's the formula for a triangle? No, it's not a squared plus b squared. Base times height divided by 2. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. That's the Pythagorean theorem. Now, so what we're going to do, base times height, I'm going to take 6 to the square root of 5 times 6 to the square root of 8. Okay. Now, let's multiply 6 times 6. We get 36. Square root of 5 times 8, 40. Now, you're not done. You have to simplify 40. So 40 will split up. You could see it this way, 4 and 10. Now, if you can see the perfect square from here, you can do this. See, because right now I've got 36. Which one of these is a perfect square? No. 36 is on the outside, y'all. Out of the green right here, the 4 is. What's the square root of 4? 2. So I've got to take this times 2. 10 is as low as it can go because it's 2 and 5. So it's square root of 10. And if not, you can still break it all apart and do what we've been doing. But now you have to take 36 times 2. What is that? 2, that's 70, 72. Square root of 10. That's the area. Try number 22. Doing the same thing. And then you can go back to the other problems. Time, hold up. Guess what? We forgot. Okay, well, I forgot. Whatever. We did all this, but we're not done with the area. All this was base times height. We needed to take this divided by 2, right? Because I forgot about that, and that'll be something that they'll use on the test to trick you. 72 divided by 2, you only do these numbers right here. 36, square root of 10. That's the actual area. Thank you so much. Now let's try the next problem. And don't forget to divide by 2. Okay, on number 22, it is a triangle again. Base times height divided by 2. So you're going to take 4, the square root of 3, times 5, the square root of 2. You are going to take 4 times 5 and get 20. Then you're going to take 3 times 2, which is 6. Now, if you haven't figured out by now, square root of 6 is as low as it can go. Okay? Now, you multiplied it now. Yes, we divide by 2 because it's a triangle. 20 divided by 2, 10. Square root of 6. You do not divide that 6 by it. That's underneath the square root sign. This is your area. Okay, so let's go back to where we left off in the problems. Oh, which way am I going? What's going on? All right. Number 10. Actually, let's do number 12 since I screwed up that one so well. All right. Number 12. If I split them up, it says the square root of 180 over the square root of 9. Now, before I try and make us do way too much work, square root of 9 is a perfect square, right? What's the square root of 9? 3 times 3 is 9. So the square root of 9 is 3. Now, I need to break up 180, though. 180, let's see here. That's going to be 18 times 10. Okay, well, 10 is 2 and 5. 18, 9 and 2. 9 breaks up as 2 and 2. It is so 3 and 3. Good morning, Vietnam. That was a movie way back in the day. Never mind. All right, here we go. All right. I know I'm losing it. I got it. All right. 3 and 3. Maria's still like, what? 2 and 2. And 5. All right. Now, yeah, the 3 and the 2 come outside. And the square root of 5 stays inside. So if I rewrite this right here, 3 times 2 is what? 6. And then square root of 5 is still there. What goes on the denominator? A 3, right? We still have this 3 right there. See, 6 square root of 5 is what the square root of 180 equals. Well, now, what is 6 divided by 3? It is 2. 2 square root of 5 is what that simplifies to. Okay? You need to finish. Let's see. Let's go back up here. We have the next ones to do. Okay, number 10. First, let's look at the number 60. 60 splits up as 6 and 10. Well, this 6 is 2 and 3. That's prime. And then we have 2 and 5. I can put all this under, well, I'll go ahead and put it all underneath the square root sign. Let's go ahead and do our same way. We've got 2 and then 3 times 3 times 2 times 5. And then that says x to the 4th. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's find our pairs to go outside our square root sign. Well, I've got a 2 and a 2, so that goes outside. The 3 and the 5 stay inside. I've got x's, x's. All right, so now outside here I have 2x squared, and then it's going to be the square root of 15. So that's your answer, 2x squared, the square root of 15. Okay, now this one, you've got the square root of 28 times 5, the square root of 63. Well, for me, I mean, you could take 28 times 63 and then try and break it down, but let's just break down 28. 4 and 7. 4 breaks down as 2 and 2. Let's break down 63. 63 is 9 times 7. 9 is 3 and 3. All right, so don't forget about this 5. The 5 goes outside the square root sign. What goes inside? I have 2 and 2. I have a 7. I have a 3 and a 3. And another 7. Okay. So the 5 is outside. So now I have a pair of 2's. The 2's go outside. I have a pair of 3's. The 3's go outside. And I even have a pair of 7's. So a 7 will go outside. There's nothing left. Everything got taken up that's in underneath the square root sign. So this goes away. So now you're just going to multiply this. So I have, let's see, 7 times 5 is 35. Then I have 35 times 2, which is 70. 70 times 3, 210. So the answer right here is 210. Let's try the next ones. Here's the next ones. Pause the video and come back and see how you do. All right, on the next one, we're taking the square root of 15 times the square root of 8. Well, I'm going to break up 15, and that's 3 and 5. Those are prime, leave it alone. 8 breaks up into 2 and 4. 4 breaks up into 2 and 2. So now underneath the square root sign, I have 3 and 5, 2 2, and 2. All right, so there's 3 of those. Oops, don't write a 3 because I said 3. There we go. All right, where are my partners? The only pair I have is a 2 right here. Everything else stays underneath the square root sign. So I get 2 square root of 3 times 5 is 15. 15 times 2 is 30. So my answer is 2 square root of 30. 14, 360. That's going to be 36 times 10. Now you could do this other ways. 36 is a perfect square. Now if you look for some of the shortcuts, what is the square root of 36? It's 6, so the 6 is going to come out here. 10 splits up into 2 and 5. You can't do anything with that, so the 10 would stay there. So I have 6 the square root of 10. Now, even if you didn't see that that was a perfect square right away, you still could break it up like how I did on number 13, and then pull out your pairs and then multiply. Okay, number 15. Multiply what's on the outside. That's 24 square root 6 times 6. Well, those are partners, so I'm going to bring it out. So I have 24 times 6, but nothing in the square root sign, so that just goes away. So now my answer is 24 times 6, which is 144, I think. What is that? 4. Oh gosh, let's do it like this. Let's go back old school. 4 and a 2, 12, 13, 14. Yep, 144. So the answer is 144. All right, let's go and do the next. These are the last 3 that we have on this video. Okay, number 16. It says x to the 7th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Y squared. That means 2 y's. Woo, z to the 16th. That means I'll just write z to the 16th for a second. All right. Right here, I've got 1 pair, 2 pairs, 3 pairs. Then the other x stays inside. I've got a pair of y's. And then I'll still leave z to the 16th for a second. We'll come back to that. All right, so I've got x to the 3rd y, square root of x, z to the 16th. Z to the 16th. Okay, so if I've got x to the 3rd y, square root, the x is still in there, and z to the 16th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Oops. How many pairs is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, so if you are looking on pairs, you could take 16 divided by 2, and that would tell you how many came out. So my answer is x to the 3rd y, z to the 8th, square root of x. That's your answer. Now, up here, this says a to the 5th times a squared. Well, that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a squared is 1, 2. How many partners do you have? 1, 2, 3. That means I've got a times a times a that goes outside, and only one a left inside. So that's a to the 3rd square root of a. That's your answer to number 17. Now, number 18, this is like a negative 1 outside. Okay, so I've got negative 1, and then underneath the square root, so I think I'm writing it too close here. Let me bring it down. Negative 1 square root of something. 3 is prime, so 3 stays down here. 12 breaks up into 4 and 3. 4 breaks up into 2 and 2. 2 times 2 times 3. Well, my partners, there's a 2. So I've got negative 1 times 2. And then my 3's times 3. And the square root is empty, so this goes away. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times negative 1 is negative 6. One of the things you could have seen is 3 times 12 gave you the square root of 36 with the negative sign outside. Square root of 36 is 6. You could have looked at it that way as well.